You wait an entire month for your paycheck, believing this time your financial life will finally move forward because you have promised yourself everything will finally change. The salary alert appears, your account balance instantly grows, and a wave of relief replaces weeks of financial pressure because, for the first time in days, everything seems possible again. You immediately begin imagining the things you will finally accomplish, believing this paycheck will help you save more money, reduce financial stress, and regain complete control. Then something strange begins happening so quietly that you barely notice it, even though those small moments will eventually determine how your entire month unfolds. A few harmless purchases seem completely reasonable, one unexpected expense appears without warning, another convenient payment follows naturally, and your growing confidence slowly begins disappearing alongside your money. Only a few days after payday, you open your banking application again, expecting reassurance, but instead you experience the same uncomfortable disappointment that quietly returns almost every single month. The painful part is not watching your account balance become smaller because spending money is a completely normal part of everyday life for every financially responsible person. The painful part is realizing you cannot clearly explain where most of your money actually went because every individual purchase seemed perfectly reasonable when you made it. You worked hard for every single amount you earned, yet your paycheck somehow disappeared before giving you the financial peace you imagined throughout the previous month. If earning money is supposed to make you feel financially secure, why do you continue feeling broke almost immediately after receiving the income you worked so hard for? The answer has surprisingly little to do with your salary because something far more powerful quietly influences your financial decisions long before you ever spend your first naira. This is Unspoken Finance, where you uncover the psychology behind your financial decisions, understand the behaviors shaping your money habits, and learn practical strategies that help you build lasting wealth instead of temporary financial relief. If understanding your own financial behavior matters more than chasing another quick money tip, consider subscribing because every video uncovers another hidden truth about your relationship with money. Picture your next payday because you already know exactly how those first exciting moments feel without anyone needing to describe every tiny emotional detail. Your salary arrives, your shoulders relax slightly, and your confidence quietly returns because your financial worries finally seem smaller than they felt only yesterday. You immediately begin remembering every promise you made during the previous month while your account balance continued shrinking faster than you expected. You promise yourself that this month you will finally save consistently, stay within your budget, avoid unnecessary spending, and make smarter financial decisions every single day. Those promises feel completely genuine because you truly believe this paycheck gives you another opportunity to change everything about your financial future. Then everyday life quietly begins competing against every financial promise you confidently made only a few hours before receiving your salary. Buying lunch feels reasonable because you worked extremely hard throughout the month and genuinely believe rewarding yourself should never become something you feel guilty about. Ordering something online feels justified because the discount appears temporary, convincing you that buying immediately actually saves more money than waiting another week. Renewing another subscription feels insignificant because the monthly amount looks too small to damage your finances, especially after your account balance recently increased. Accepting another invitation from friends feels completely harmless because saying no repeatedly makes you feel like financial discipline is stealing life's enjoyable experiences. Every individual decision feels small, logical, deserved, and emotionally satisfying because none of those expenses appear large enough to threaten your financial stability alone. That is exactly why your financial situation changes so quietly because your biggest money problems rarely arrive through one dramatic purchase requiring immediate attention. Instead, they slowly grow through dozens of ordinary decisions that seem completely harmless until they begin working together against your long-term financial goals. Another week quietly passes, your excitement gradually fades, and you instinctively open your banking application hoping everything remains comfortably under control. Instead of feeling reassured, you immediately begin calculating how many days remain before your next payday because your remaining balance suddenly feels much smaller than expected. The excitement you experienced only days earlier quietly transforms into stress, frustration, confusion, and the familiar question that keeps returning every single month. Where did all your money actually go? Most people answer that painful question almost immediately by blaming themselves for spending too much money, believing that explanation completely explains their financial situation. Although that answer feels obvious, it only describes what happened after your money disappeared instead of explaining why the same pattern continues repeating every month. If spending too much were the complete explanation, simply deciding to spend less would permanently solve your financial problem without requiring any additional understanding. You have probably promised yourself countless times that next month you would become more disciplined, save more consistently, and finally remain within your planned budget. Yet despite making those sincere promises repeatedly, your financial story somehow continues following the same frustrating pattern regardless of how determined you initially feel. That happens because your paycheck never becomes the first thing deciding where your money eventually goes throughout the entire month. Something much deeper quietly influences those decisions before your wallet opens, your payment card leaves your pocket, or your banking application completes another transaction. Your brain constantly focuses on keeping you emotionally comfortable today because immediate emotional safety feels much more important than building wealth several years into the future. Your future self defines financial security as growing savings, reliable investments, emergency funds, and enough money to face unexpected problems without constant anxiety or fear. Your brain defines security very differently because reducing today's stress immediately feels more valuable than protecting yourself against tomorrow's uncertainty through delayed financial rewards. That single difference quietly explains more about your everyday financial decisions than many budgeting lessons ever manage to explain throughout an entire conversation. Whenever you experience a stressful day, buying something enjoyable immediately changes how you feel because your brain naturally rewards anything that quickly reduces emotional discomfort. Receiving your paycheck also creates powerful emotional excitement because your brain immediately sees new opportunities to experience relief, pleasure, comfort, and well-deserved personal rewards. Notice something incredibly important because your brain is rarely chasing expensive products, luxurious lifestyles, or unnecessary possessions as much as emotional satisfaction. The expensive purchase simply becomes the vehicle carrying the emotional reward your brain desperately wants after weeks of pressure, uncertainty, responsibility, and mental exhaustion. That explains why saving money sometimes feels emotionally painful because your brain interprets delayed gratification as giving up something enjoyable instead of gaining something meaningful. But if emotional relief explains your financial behavior so clearly, another important question immediately appears, and the answer changes everything you currently believe about money. Why do the same emotional spending patterns return every payday even after you already understand they keep hurting your financial future? Because your emotions are following another invisible pattern that quietly developed long before this month's paycheck ever reached your account, and recognizing that pattern changes everything. Your money identity quietly controls your financial decisions. The surprising truth is that your paycheck is not entering an empty mind because it is entering a financial identity that has been developing for many years. Whether you realize it or not, you have quietly developed beliefs about money through childhood experiences, daily observations, emotional moments, financial successes, and painful disappointments. If money always seemed temporary while growing up, your brain may unconsciously expect every paycheck to disappear instead of believing it should remain and continue growing. If financial stress became your normal experience for many years, your mind quietly begins treating financial pressure as something familiar instead of something unusual that deserves attention. Your brain naturally repeats what feels familiar because familiar experiences require less mental effort, even when those experiences repeatedly create frustration, anxiety, and financial disappointment. That is why receiving more money rarely changes someone's financial life permanently because new income usually follows old beliefs unless those beliefs are intentionally replaced. You may think your spending habits begin after your salary arrives, but they actually begin much earlier. Through the financial identity quietly influencing every decision you make. If you secretly believe keeping money is difficult, your daily decisions will slowly prove that belief correct because your actions eventually follow your deepest expectations. This is not because you lack intelligence, discipline, or ambition, but because your behavior naturally follows the identity your mind already believes about money. That realization changes everything because it shifts your attention away from blaming yourself and toward understanding the hidden beliefs driving your financial decisions every day. But even that is not the deepest reason your paycheck disappears so quickly because another invisible pattern quietly reinforces those beliefs every single day. Your habits spend your money before you do. Most people believe they make financial decisions one purchase at a time, but your brain prefers turning repeated choices into automatic habits requiring almost no conscious thought. That means many purchases are no longer active decisions because your brain already expects them to happen before you even notice the opportunity to spend money. You do not automatically buy coffee because you carefully analyze today's situation, but because yesterday's routine quietly became today's default financial behavior. You do not instinctively open shopping applications because you suddenly need something important, but because your brain associates browsing with relaxation after stressful moments. You do not repeatedly ignore small expenses because they are truly insignificant, but because your brain has learned that familiar patterns rarely deserve careful attention. Those tiny habits quietly become invisible leaks, allowing your paycheck to disappear gradually while convincing you that nothing serious is actually happening. Imagine placing water into a bucket containing several tiny holes because each individual leak seems harmless until the bucket becomes completely empty much sooner than expected. Your paycheck behaves exactly the same way because financial pressure rarely comes from one enormous mistake, but from many unnoticed behaviors quietly working together every day. Here is the twist that changes everything about how you think regarding money because your paycheck does not disappear first, your habits quietly spend it before you consciously realize it. Once you understand that truth, you stop asking where your money went and begin asking which daily behaviors quietly decided its destination before you even noticed. The good news is that the same brain creating these financial patterns can also learn healthier ones because habits are designed to be changed through consistent repetition. The first step is not creating a complicated budget because awareness must always come before control if you want lasting financial improvement instead of temporary motivation. For the next 7 days, record every expense without judging yourself because honest observation reveals financial patterns that emotions often hide from your conscious attention. You are not tracking money simply to create another spreadsheet because you are exposing invisible behaviors that have quietly controlled your finances for much longer than expected. The second step is creating a 24-hour waiting period before making any purchase that was never included inside your original financial plan for the week. That waiting period interrupts emotional spending because your brain finally receives enough time to separate temporary excitement from genuine financial priorities requiring thoughtful attention. Many purchases lose their emotional attraction after one day because urgency often disappears once your emotions become calmer and your logical thinking becomes much stronger. The third step is giving every paycheck a clear purpose before spending begins because money without direction usually follows emotion instead of intentional financial planning. Decide how much belongs to necessities, savings, investing, personal enjoyment, and future goals before your emotions begin assigning completely different jobs to every available naira. Another powerful strategy involves automating your savings because removing repeated decisions protects your financial future from emotional fluctuations occurring throughout every single month. Automation quietly allows discipline to continue working even when motivation becomes weaker because good financial systems outperform temporary emotional determination every single time. Finally, celebrate progress instead of perfection because lasting wealth grows through consistent improvements rather than dramatic financial transformations happening within only a few weeks. Behavioral shift. Imagine opening your banking application near the end of the month without immediately feeling nervous because you already know your financial decisions followed a thoughtful plan. Imagine receiving your next paycheck without feeling pressured to spend quickly because your money already has clearly defined responsibilities supporting your long-term financial future. Imagine unexpected expenses appearing without destroying your confidence because your growing financial habits have gradually created stability instead of constant uncertainty. Those moments become possible when your identity changes from someone trying to save money into someone whose daily behaviors naturally protect and grow financial resources. Real financial freedom rarely begins when your income suddenly increases because it usually begins when your relationship with money quietly starts becoming healthier every single day. The greatest lesson from today's conversation is surprisingly simple because your paycheck has never been your biggest financial problem despite what many people naturally believe. Your emotions influence your decisions, your beliefs shape your emotions, and your habits repeatedly transform those beliefs into the financial reality you experience every month. Once you understand that powerful cycle, you stop fighting your money and begin changing the hidden patterns quietly controlling every financial decision you make. You do not build lasting wealth by earning more money alone because lasting wealth grows when your identity, habits, and financial decisions finally begin working together. The goal was never simply keeping more of your paycheck, because the real goal is becoming the person whose everyday behaviors naturally create lasting financial security. If today's video helped you understand yourself differently, support Unspoken Finance by leaving a like, because every interaction helps these important conversations reach more people. Subscribe to Unspoken Finance if you want to continue uncovering the hidden psychology behind your financial decisions while building smarter habits that lead toward lasting wealth. Finally, I would love to hear from you, because lasting change always begins with awareness, so comment the single word awareness if you are ready to understand your money before trying to control it.